So yesterday we left at the difference between sensual joy and non-sensual. Okay. So first thing we need to know is that why do we enjoy senses? Because there is joy. That's most easiest. Then, because in jhanic you need to put effort. In sensual, not much effort. You just get it. Let's say I want to make a tea. 10 minutes, I have tea, drink it, finished. Yeah, it doesn't come for long time, but I enjoyed the tea. Same with games, same with anything. So there is sensual enjoyment. So first you need to enjoy the senses. After you've exhausted, then you should have a question, what next? Add everything. Then you come to jhanic. Well, now you're satiated from there. So then there is a comparison between the sensual and the non-sensual. So there's a motivation that I have done this and now there is nothing more it can provide. So then automatically the mind gets into the jhanic. So to get into jhanic, we need to suppress the sensual. So there are many ways of doing it, which we have already covered many number of times. So however you want to suppress, you can suppress it and you get into jhanic. So the best jhanic thing is breath. There's no substitute for that. Because number one, it is free. Number two, it can be observed. Okay, so let's say I take the joy and I measure the joy of having tea or coffee versus this. I find this is lasting 3 days. That's the measure. Now, you might ask where it is written in the sutta, it stays for 3 days. To do it correctly, you will see that it indeed stays for 3 days. It depends on how much suppression of the sensual has happened. Meaning, if the mind is relaxed or released from the sensual, it can easily stay for 3 days as joy. And hence you know it is long lasting than the sensual. Okay. So basically then you can drop off the sensual for that person. So the first jhana, joy, is connected with the mental activity. That is, he is looking at the breath and he is concentrating on that, or he's looking at whether he's able to see it for a long time. Now the question is, can I see for a long time? That's the question. So if I do 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening, that's not long time. That's an activity. So it doesn't work. Why it doesn't work? Because it's an effort. Sensual doesn't have effort when compared to this. So it will not do. See, if I say I'll look the breath for half an hour, it will not work. Okay, I'll look for 15 minutes, it will not work. 5 minutes, maybe it works. Why? Because it's an activity. Anything that's an activity is a burdensome to the mind, it will not do. So it's a short-term plan, not a long-term plan. Meaning, this breath watching shouldn't be made like a activity. To begin with, you can, but if you make that as an like a something like a ritual, never going to work, because there's no joy at the end of it. It doesn't get anything, so you get into drowsiness. Because in sensual, you're doing something, right? You are active. Meaning, let's say you're watching something or hearing something, tasting something, smelling something, touching something. So there's a huge set of activities. So there's some interesting thing. So when I see something, there's interest, and hear something, there's interest. But here, what interest I have? Yeah, I had a limited interest, and then something exciting will come. So I close my eyes and I sit and do what? That's the problem. So, thing is, like Chuladasa says, you need to have peripheral awareness. Otherwise, it will not work. That means, to begin with, you have to be hearing the sound from outside or the heartbeat or something. You just can't be watching the breath below the nostril. It doesn't work. And another reason why it doesn't work is because of hindrances. So if you see, there are more hindrances in jhanic than sensual because we have got a workaround for sensual. I say I'm feeling hot. I'll put on air conditioning. Done. If I can't walk, I'll go in the car. Taken care. If I can't sit, I'll sit on a chair. I'll put a double cushion. Okay. If I want to trim, I'll go to a gym. So I have solution for everything. Here, you don't have a solution. So it doesn't work. So the least thing we do is to watch the breath because it's not interesting. I know it, I should watch it, but I will not. Anyway, we'll see later. It's not urgent. But for sensual, you don't have to do anything. It's straightforward. It's there. So I can see, I can hear, I can taste, I can touch, I can smell, and I can think. Absolutely fair. So this five senses with six guna is what we are searching for. So there is a joy, and when you want to show a further joy, then it should be real for the mind to accept that it is something else. Otherwise, it will not do. So the thing we need to do is first get there rather than arguing that we should do or we shouldn't do jhana, etc., etc. First get there. Let's first get there. And no need to argue. Let's get there. So the first jhana. You finish the first jhana, then it automatically goes to second jhana where there's no thinking, and that means you don't have to watch the breath. It's automated. Just like the senses are automated, this is also automatic. So there's no need for me to observe the breath. Then the joy comes. And the joy stays for 3 days. And now I'm convinced that no senses can give me joy for 3 days. Clear? So let's say I got promoted. Joy is for a minute. And had I not expected, if I had expected it, then it is default. I was due for promotion long time ago, and this company has now thought over it. Okay. And when I look at my salary hike, it seems like double on paper, but when I get it after tax, hardly 15% hike. Nothing. Okay, so it makes no sense. So my promotion didn't have any value. I wanted to buy a property. I bought it. After buying it, I just go inside the house and that's it. Done. But this joy is for 3 days. I don't require a property or a salary hike. I can just sit in a park and be happy. Or even in the office, I can just sit in one corner and be not happy, be joyous. So it's automatic. So now I really understand. Nothing to do with the other sukha, what we are talking, the third kind of happiness, joy. Sorry, the joy, aspiti, the third kind. We're just talking second kind. Okay. So first you need to get that taste of joy, of jhana. 3 days. Then it dips. You can see dipping. Next what? Next sukha. This is happiness. 7 days. Now what's the sensual sukha? The joy of getting it and having it completely as yours is sukha, is happiness. So is your pursuit for happiness. You're pursuing it, you got it. It's very happy. It's just like I get H1B visa, let's say, and I wanted to work in some good organization and I got it. Or I got what I can say, a seat in, or I got, let's say, in Stanford. I wanted to graduate in Stanford, I got in Stanford. That's happiness. I exactly got what I wanted. So anything that I want, I get it. It's sukha. After that, what happens? You leave it. Now I have to struggle. That's okay, but I got it. So for that moment, my world stops. When there is sukha, the world will come to an end. There's nothing world. So all the senses stop for that moment, and then you're done. I'll give another example. All of this. In 2010, we started preparing for a mountain climb in the Himalayas. First time for all of us. Climbing a 16,000 feet is not a easy thing to do. So some of my team members and myself, we wanted to take off and go for this climb. So it's a place in Sikkim called as Gochala. It's a very treacherous trek. It's not a mountaineering per se, but almost equivalent to mountaineering. So I was very obsessed with mountains. So I somehow convinced some of my colleagues, I'm going there. Would you be interested? They all said yes. So 5 people signed up with me. So we're 6 guys. So then I had to convince my organization that we'll be not there for 2 weeks. We require 2 weeks off. It's a 10-member team. 6 people are not there in the team. Only 4 people remain. Okay. And then they said, what's the penalty we're going to get if we were to allow you to go for the trek? So we said 1 documentation guy and 2 testers, 1 developer, and 1 person for translation into Spanish and English and all that, and 1 dev manager. That's the penalty. What's the advantage of going? It's a team building. So can you weigh it and tell me what's in it for the organization if we were to allow leave? I said, look, the advantage here is that there'll be a lot of collaboration because a new team and we've been working together, but the products are across. So why don't we do something like this? But actually, I wanted to trek. So I told my boss, this is what it is. Then he said, yes, go ahead. You go ahead, but not the team. I said, okay, I have no problem, but they also want to join. So then he looked at their teams and then they said, okay, go ahead. So they approved the leave for 2 weeks. So that was the most happiest moment that I'm taking my team for trek, and nobody is experienced climber. So 2011 March, we went on this trek. Okay, with snow and ice, and we didn't expect that that place is going to be so worse for us because of the frostbite and snow and ice. It it wouldn't snow so much, but unfortunately it snowed a lot and also ice. So the tents which we were staying became like iced up. Couldn't open the zip, but it was a nice one. Nothing happened to any one of us. We maneuvered, and we had a guide, an excellent guide, and then we couldn't go to the top because it was completely covered in ice. So if we started climbing, we could have climbed, but we couldn't get down because we didn't have necessary equipments for ice climbing. And
It's
and
8:30 পৌঁছে যাবে
and then we didn't have experience also. I mean, we have not been trained. So when we went to the top, not that top, we had another top. We went to 16,100 feet. It was fabulous. Never had such a happiness of taking so much of strain, and we had to maneuver 70-degree climbs 3 times. It just goes like this, and it tests your all the power you have. And when you come to the top, it's amazing. That time I understood why people love to kill themselves at Everest or at any other place. You are from top, you have won it. Okay, but that effort from 2010 mid to 2011, the amount of practice we have done to climb was amazing. Now, can I not do it in jhānas? Yes, there's no need of climbing, but equal amount of effort is required when it will stay for longer than the this mountain thing what I did. And in US, in Seattle, when I was in Seattle, we went to Mount Rainier. That was also a good experience. So this is not as difficult as this one, but it is good actually that we climbed Mount Rainier. So anyway, when you go to the top of a mountain, you feel you've done it, and that is happiness. But that lasts for how many hours? Maybe 15, 20 minutes. And after that, it just fizzles out. Then you sit there and relax, and then you have to go down, to come down, and that's it. All the effort to reach there is gone. In the same way, the second jhana, when we move to the third jhana, you get happiness. And it lasts for 7 days. Mark it. If you get it today, it will be there for 7 days. And now the mind has seen for itself that sensual pleasures have no staying ability, or jhanic is much, much, much better than sensual. So that's a straight comparison between the sensual and the jhanic. So this is how we need to do it. To come out of it. So it makes a complete absorption, and it removes the strain. Now we come to the Niramisa Niramisitara. So what he does is he does something different. Now we are coming to Buddha Dhamma. He says, check out on the repetitions and see non-repeating. Because this jhanic also you have to keep on repeating. Just like sensual. Yes, it is far more better, but the repetition is there. You have to repeat it. You have to get into this act all the time. Is there something better than that? So he says, look at the asava. When you are gone into the jhana, look at the asava. There's a suppression of kama asava. There is kama asava, but there is suppression. There is bhava asava. There is dhitti asava. There is avijja asava. All the four asavas are there. Come down and start removing the dhitti asava. Where I look at anicca, viparinami, anyatha bhavi, and make first jhana and vipassana going together like this. It goes inside and it cuts off the dhitti asava. So, usual route is samatha and go to the jhana. Buddha is jhana or samatha with vipassana. This goes like this. Because this guy will go inside, cut off. That means from the root it will go away. It's an excellent thing. So from the second jhana or the third jhana or the fourth jhana, whichever jhana I have entered, I have enjoyed it, I'll come back. Come back to the ground. Enter into jhana and enter into vipassana. So the first thing I need to do is to anicca dukkha anatta or anicca viparinami anyatha bhavi. And I have understood it. Now I bring this here with the breath. When I enter into the jhana, rather than going into the next jhana, I will bring the vipassana part of it. And then what happens? Then the dhitti asava is removed. Oh, very good. And same 3 days, no problem. And now I start on the second jhana. Meaning after the third day, I don't have to go to the first jhana because anyway dhitti asava is removed. So I can start with second jhana. So when I start in second jhana, the second and third will keep on going up and down like this. So then I'm ready. Then I start working on the kama asava. So what do? Same thing, anicca dukkha anatta, or I take the 5 aggregates, or I take the dhatu, or I take whatever I'm interested in investigating, and then I plug it. So I'll start to see there's nothing inside this body or any body. So plus any possessions or anything I have been thinking, keeps on dipping away. So it takes me to fourth jhana, where I feel equanimity. So the joy with what I started on the Niramisa Itara, the asavas are getting reduced. That means raga, dvesha, moha. The moha portion is represented by anicca, dukkha, anatta. Okay, that not knowing. That's a moha. So basically now I'm putting into raga, dvesha, moha, right? So the moha is getting reduced because I'm seeing anicca nature, dukkha nature, anatta nature. So it cuts off the raga. So it cuts off, starts cutting off the kamachanda. So it was suppressing in my jhanik. Now I don't have to do suppression, I can remove it. I can do the removal of vipassana. Now the problem here is, if I'm not even gone to a jhana, I can't do this. And many people do a dry vipassana which is not going to work. This cannot work. You require this samatha and vipassana going together. It can't be samatha takes over and vipassana is not there, or vipassana takes over and no samatha is there. Doesn't work. So it has to be equal. But then the five faculties will come together. Otherwise it will not. So when I start doing it, I'm building blocks. So I take this and this together, it keeps on growing. Then the joy turns itself into happiness. Niramisa itara. So the happiness what I'm getting at this stage surpasses all happiness. Why? It's cutting the kamachanda vyapada, kamachanda vyapada, kamachanda vyapada. Okay. That's more easier to get into jhana all the time. And when I do it, I know I have achieved sakadagami stage. So when I opened up my eyes and I'm walking here, there, doing my job, the breath watching is so synchronized and the excitement level comes down. What do you mean excitement? Excitement for anything. Like that will not come. So if something I'm getting, I feel happy that I got it, but nothing beyond that. Because I know the jhanic happiness is far better than this happiness. And this one is even more better than jhanic happiness. So I've seen both. That is, I've seen the sensual, I've seen the non-sensual also. Niramisa, I've seen, but Niramisa Itara is higher than the Niramisa and Samisa. So now I've seen it. Excellent. Having done so, should I get into 8 jhanas? No, that's not required in this stage, in this state. The reason being, the Nirodha Samapatti gets covered up in the 4th jhana itself, and hence Buddha Samma Samadhi is 4 jhanas, it's not 8 jhanas. So you don't have to go to Arupa jhana and do it. You can do it in 4th jhana itself. So let's see how this whole thing works. Now I come to the Samisa Sukha, which I just said. There should be Niramisa Sukha also. Right? So 3rd jhana, I have already attained the 3rd jhana, which is Niramisa Sukha. And the Niramisa Itara Sukha is that I penetrated into this Raga Dvesha Moha. So it's cutting off. So the Sukha is increasing. So the first sukha, having breakfast or lunch or dinner, still exists, but the mind doesn't lead on to there. At the same time, the mind can get into first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, but it doesn't lean on to there. It doesn't lean towards it. And it comes to the niramisa itara sukha, which is where it will always would like to be. That means the sensual is already achieved. The niramisa is also achieved. That means this person or a yogi, whatever you would like to call, or a practitioner, has already attained the first three jhanas. And that's the reason Buddha keeps on saying that it is Arya. This third sukha is Arya sukha. Why? Because he has started cutting off the raga, dvesha, moha. Okay. So basically, that's what has happened for this person. So when he has done it, he is looking at even more cutting them. Cutting them into what? Cutting them into a state of unbinding. And that happens when it turns into an anagami stage. He is so focused because he's sold over niramisa itara sukha, that now getting into the first three jhanas is a cakewalk. No need to sit somewhere, no need to isolate anywhere. Even his walking is having that, his sitting is having that, his sleeping is having that, he's doing any activities also is having that. So there's nothing like, I need to go and sit somewhere, I have to create a space for myself, or I need to go for a shunyagara or some crazy places like that. Not required. Yeah, all of that comes under sensual only. This shunyagara business and all of this is sensual. Why? Because conditions. And that means that shouldn't we do it? Yeah, you should. Absolutely, you should. But come to the jhana, not there. Doesn't matter whether you get jhana in the shunyagara or no shunyagara or whatever that is called. It makes no sense. Initially, you require it. Just like initially, I require my computer or my promotion or salary hike. All of that is required. The same way, the shunyagara business is also required. And that's it. That's the only thing about it. It has got nothing. Whether I take a cushion or I take a pillow or I take some sitting posture or some whatever it is, it all comes under this. It's all preparation. It has got nothing to do with any real experience per se. But when I come into the jhana, it changes. Because I'm not bothered about the sitting posture. I'm not bothered about the cushion. I'm not bothered about the shunyagara also. It's got nothing to do with it. What's stupid? Would be my argument to myself. Like a small child saying that I'll sit there. What? You sit wherever. How does it matter? Excellent. Now the moha getting reduced, so the raga and dvesha is getting cut. So beyond the sakadagami stage, there is a voidness which gets caught. And that is when he sees a state which is not available to the sakadagami, which is the nirodha. That's the state of void. Because it stops. For that moment, the raga, dvesha, moha not being there, there is no association of senses to the sense object, and hence we can get into the nirodha samapatti, which is the highest ever sukha. So achieved it. Now, from that standpoint, everything else looks nothing. Then there is equanimity. So, what is the sensual equanimity? Samisa upekka, niramisa upekka, niramisa niramisa itara upekka. So, the upekka that I get by not reacting to the five senses, kama guna, is niramisa, samisa, upekka. And if I get into the fourth jhana, it is niramisa, upekka. And now, if I get into a state of pure void, that is animitta, apanihita, shunyata, it is niramisa, niramisa, itara, upekka. So it's a stage when there is no reaction or anything. So we went till upekha. Same practice, no difference about anicca, dukkha, anatta, or taking the five aggregates or whatever. Your vipassana is on only these. There's nothing else on vipassana. You're going to take these only as a vipassana object. Having done so, it pushes to the next level of liberation. When there is a fruit of that Nirodha Samapatti into a full-fledged Anagami or an Arhat. There are two possibilities. So, if I consider this, first I need to look at the Samisa Vimukha. So, how do I get it? Any idea? Anyone? Is there anything called as Samisa Vimukha? Okay, if you don't know, it's about dana, sila, all of that is Samisa Vimukha. So you'll be born in a heavenly existence. So getting rid of this existence and getting into the next existence is Samisa Vimukha. Okay. Now, is there something called as Niramisa Vimukha? Any idea? If you don't know, getting into 8 jhana is Niramisa Vimukha. Meaning, residing in the 8 jhana is the Niramisa Vimukha. Going to the heavenly world is Samisa Vimukha. Going into the Arupa jhana to the 8th is Niramisa Vimukha. And Niramisa Itara Vimukha is Asava Khaya Jnana. Okay. Now the question for an anagami is avidya asava and bhava asava. These two have to be cut. And that's the biggest problem. Why? Because the 8 jhanas are the stopper. Rupa bhava, arupa bhava. And anagami can get into this beautiful sweet spot anytime and get into Nirodha Samapatti. But now he has to let go of it. Number one problem. Number two is let go of Buddha Dhamma. Because that's part of avidya. To cross, you have to use the raft only for crossing, not for holding. But the anagami holds onto it. And there is not gross holding, there is subtle holding also. So that's where things get slightly muddy. But if the person can work out and do it intelligently, his panya will grow. Presently, what would have happened is that his saddha is good, no problem. Virya is very good, no problem. Sati is good, samadhi is good, but panya is weak. And all the 5 of them are not balanced. Until unless it is balanced, cannot become an arhat. Now, what's the problem here? Saddha on Buddha Dhamma is too much. It has worked for him, so he can't let go of it. Then, samadhi is another problem. He can get into samadhi quickly. He loves to be in samadhi. The samadhi is good. But the weak is the sati. It'll either get into saddha or samadhi. And it keeps on putting energy on the samadhi. But he has restlessness for panya. So udacha is going to be there. And mana gets developed in an anagami. Because nobody has attained it. Across, if he sees, no one has attained. And he has escaped from the womb existence. So that becomes a blockage. And avidya anyway is going to remain. So avidya, mana, udacha, ruparaga, aruparaga. So niramisa itara sukha, niramisa itara piti, niramisa itara upekka, he can stay without any problem. But niramisa itara vimukha is stuck. That's the problem. If that person can solve this, done. Journey ended. So, step by step, if we see first samisa, this enjoyment of the senses, agree, accept, move forward. Then get into all the 4 jhānas, agree, accept, move forward. Then you get into the same jhanas with Dhamma, I, not I as a person, EYEI. Then incorporate anicca, dukkha, anatta into the equation. And then you've done it. But caution, you can't get into the third one without the second one. You can't get into the second one without the first one. If someone has not enjoyed the senses, he will never be able to get into jhana. And the third one is impossible. He can read, but he will never attain. Out. So the first and foremost, you should have all the 8 jhanas. Forward, backward, at will. You are in 8, should be able to come to 1. You are in 1, should be able to go to 8. Or you can go from 2 to 8, 3 to 8, 4 to 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, whichever combination, doesn't matter. And shouldn't have a doubt that, oh, should I start with first jhana? No, not required. You don't have to always start with first jhana. Can I do it 4th jhana? Yeah, you can. Can I do it while walking? Yes, why not? Who stops you? Can I do it while sleeping? Yes, you can. All 4 postures. I was wondering I should take a cushion, throw the cushion out. You can do it in any posture. Even on a toilet seat, you can do it. Why do you have to sit, in one place and spoil your day? But another caution: if you are only on sensual, then you require to have a place, make 1 hour every day as a routine, because you are to cut that sensual thing. So then you have to go to the second, meaning you have to make your room for that and throw that out. It's done. That means you have to do in sitting, standing, walking, and sleeping. All the 4 postures. Good. I've done this so far. Excellent. Now you attempt the remaining 4 jhanas, because the niramisas vimukha is 8th jhana. Should get that. No less than 8 jhanas. But when you come to the niramisa itara sukha, itara way, then it is 4 jhanas. What's the point? So first sensual, second is the jhana, and third one is 4 jhanas, which Buddha says in Samma Samadhi. So when you say Samma Samadhi, meaning if you are following Noble Eightfold Path, you can't cut off Samadhi of not attending first jhana, second, third, fourth. Not possible. Then you have not done the path. No fruit. This is not applicable for Sotapanna. But for any other combinations, it's applicable. So somebody here would like to stay back in a Sotapanna, then no jhana required. For this life, I think I'm happy being a Sotapanna. Okay, absolutely fair. But if you want to go further without jhana, not at all possible. It's a joke. And that's the sutta itself says it. I don't have to say it. That's all I had. Why I'm covering so much on jhana is to impress upon you that it is there in the Dhamma. So for those people who think jhanas are not there in Buddha Dhamma, They are seriously wrong. And let's stop from dreaming that will directly attend through a panya route. Impossible. We are neither vipachitanyo nor ugatitanyo. It's not possible. So the only way is to get all the three: sensual, non-sensual, and the most profound. Any question, anyone? Otherwise, we are done for the day. Yes, sir, you.
One question when you say about sensual and jhanic. Do you somehow imply that for someone who's somewhat deprived in their materialistic life cannot even attempt to get jhana?
Yes.
Mm.
Possible.
So what about a poor person joining monkhood? Is he doomed?
Not like that. See, the thing is, the main focus these days for maybe a century or more is on Sotapanna. You see everywhere, that's what is spoken. That getting into Sotapanna itself is difficult. Right? You go anywhere, any monastery, and they don't even agree that you're a Sotapanna. So the major thing is Sotapanna. So people are worried of becoming Sotapanna. For that, no jhana is required. All they have to do is to change the ditti, right? And that's it. So should I do, one second, should I do the ditti change with samis, so with the niramisa? Not required. You can do anicca, dukkha, anatta, and see it, and you become sotapanna. You're happy about it. Over, done. I'm talking about those people who are gone beyond sotapanna and they have an intent to get into anagami stage. I'm talking only of those people in this niramisa and niramisitara. It's for anagami and arhat majorly, and the in between stop is the sakadagami. So if somebody is deprived, let's say I've never visited any country, I have all the money in the world, let's say as an example. So I would like to do the world tour to enjoy different cuisines, enjoy different places, and go in yachts and go here, go there, whatever. Because without that, how can I get convinced that there's something better than this? There should be a saturation point. You look at Nanda. He was a prince. He had a nice looking woman in his life, married. But then Buddha promised him, I'll show you something better than this. Right? If somebody has not even seen the basic thing, like if I stay at my place, we don't even have a basic thing. Power, basic thing, very basic. Power is not there. Roads are not there. Cows, buffaloes, dogs, rats, cat, you name it. It's all there everywhere. Right? And people shit everywhere. No sanitation, no water, right? And many countries are like that. If you say to that person, get into jhana, what will he do? So you're asking him to do a dukkha path. showing him dukkha and making him happy, which is never going to happen. He's already feeling bad. Now you have to give him something which is making him feel joyous. How would he feel joyous? Now, when somebody has got everything, right? Like Ittha Kanta Manapa Kamupa Samita Piyarupa Rajaniya, he feels there's nothing more. That's all. Oh man. Like even Upatissa and Kolita, who became Moggallana and Sariputta, they were enjoying street shows and this show and that show and everyday shows and shows and shows. And they said, Kolita, what is happening in our life? How many times we should see this woman dancing? I'm tired. Right? Just see that. If you deprive and deprive more, that doesn't make you happy. It makes you more deprived, that's all. Yes, go ahead.
So I guess personally for you, to come to the America and experience some sensual enjoyment is part of your path, let's say. Otherwise, it couldn't have happened.
Maybe in the past, from 2006 to 2011, maybe that has affected. Because that was my dream place to work. From 99, 98, I've been dreaming to be in America. And if Y2K got a job, if that September 9/11 wouldn't have happened, I would have been in America working for last 20 plus years. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, because we don't have that much time. So I guess I'm trying to understand you properly. I guess one does not need to live like a king and enjoy everything to get on this. But in his mind, he shouldn't have such a big craving for something that he doesn't have. That's a huge burden on his mind that he cannot let go to get this. But if he's happy with his more or less, basic
Fine.
life, then it's fine.
No problem.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be discontentment, right? So let's say, I'll give another example, Ariu. You have seen my home. Now I am happy with my home. So I don't have to buy another home because I'm happy with it. I've got what I wanted. It's all about getting what you wanted and you got it. Except for the cows and buffaloes and dogs and cats and rats and all kind of other earthly animals who stay along with me. Other than that, everything is okay. Right? It's fine. I'm fine with it. I'm not complaining, let's say. And I got a decent home. It's fine. As long as that fits into that argument of Chakku with that Chakku Vinneya with Rupa with these 6 things. That's okay. I've already got. Now I see there is nothing more I can do. If I want to buy another home, I need to put a lot of effort. Now I start thinking, why should I do that? I think I better do some jhāna thing, which will get me more pleasure instantaneously than this one. So that's how I go into the jhāna. Let's say somebody is staying in a rented property. He would like to make his home. Now I say, come on, forget that. You just get into jhāna. That is better. Why? He doesn't have his home. His mind will be running behind, or somebody doesn't have good money with him, right, for his living. He's struggling, or his children or wife is struggling. Think he can do that? No. Make it as a food of your thought, and tomorrow we'll take it up on why it is like this, why it is called gradual training. What is gradual about it? Right? What is gradual? See, all of us have landed here because our basic necessities are met. Isn't it or not? Just think. If our basic necessity itself was not met, you think you were going to do this? all people sitting here don't have a basic worries. What is basic worry? You don't have a house, you don't have money, you don't have food, you don't have health, you don't have many other things. Then you ask that guy, what about not having love? Yeah, that's the foremost thing. We'll do that tomorrow because that is going to affect many things. I didn't cover it purposefully. And the basic of basic is love. Right? So anyway, tomorrow when we meet, because I think 9:30 most of you get out, so can close for today. And tomorrow we can take why it is called gradual training. What is gradual about it? Why gradual? Why not straight away jump onto the bandwagon and do it? Doesn't. There's a reason. So we'll do it tomorrow. Any comments, any questions from anyone? Even if you're not convinced with what I'm saying, we'll take it up tomorrow. And you'll see it for yourself is there in the sutta as well.
Thank you. We'll still have to drop for
Yes, same here, same here. All right. Good day to everyone. Bye bye.